Today we're going to be adding and subtracting fractions. Now, the main thing about adding and subtracting fractions, if you don't remember, is that you must have a common denominator. So, must have common denominator. This is the most important thing. You must have a common denominator when you're adding or subtracting with fractions. That is definitely a must. Alright, so let's look at a couple of examples. Let's say we have 13/15 plus 9/15. So we have 13/15 plus 9/15. Well, does it already have a common denominator? Yes, it does. So if it already has a common denominator, we just leave that common denominator. So we have 15. And then 13 plus 9 is going to be 22. Now, if you remember about your fractions, 22 over 15 is improper. So we're going to have to convert that so that it will be a proper fraction. And one way to convert that would be your fraction bar means to divide. So I'm going to take 22 and I'm going to divide it by 15. Well, 15 goes in there one time. Subtracting, I get 7. And it's just like the clock. You start at the top, and it's going to be 1 7/15. So 1 7/15. And that is going to be your final answer. Because I can't reduce it, it's not improper anymore. So there you go. All right, well, let's try another one. This time, let's try 7/8 plus 1/4. Now, you're going to notice that this one, your denominators are not the same. So we have to make it so that they are the same. So we need to come up with the smallest number that they both have in common, or their smallest multiple, least common multiple. There's lots of different ways to say it. And if you notice you have 8 and 4, well, I know that I could use 8. So my common denominator is going to be 8. Okay. Well, 8 is still 8. So 7 will stay 7. Let's look over here. How did 4 turn into 8? And you have to do multiplication with this. So 4 times what would give me my 8? Well, times 2. So 1 times 2 is 2. Now you have a common denominator. And if you change your denominator, you have to change your numerator. And then I'm adding. So 7/8 plus 2/8 gives me 9/8. And of course, 9/8 is improper because the top number is bigger than the bottom one. So 9 divided by 8 goes in there one time. So I have 1 1/8 as my answer. Again, have to come up with a common denominator. And then if your final answer or your almost final answer is improper, you have to convert. Because you don't want your final answer to be improper or so that it could be reduced. And there you go. Well, let's try some more. How about we do 5/8 minus 3/16. So 5/8 minus 3/16. Well, we need a common denominator first. So common denominator for 8 and 16. Okay, well we have 8, 16, 24, 16. Oh, well, we can use 16. Subtraction sign comes down. Well, how did 8 turn into 16? You're right, times 2. So the 5 times the 2 is going to give you 10. Over here, 16 is still 16, so 3 will stay 3. Denominators are the same, So I'm going to keep that. And then 10 minus the 3 would be 7. And there you go. Pretty simple. Let's try this one. How about if you have 1/3 plus 5/6 plus 1/2. So we're adding 3 fractions together. You still have to follow that same process. You must use a common denominator. So I need a common denominator for 3, 6, and 2. Well, if you did your listing, you have 3, 6, 9, 12, 6, 12, 18, 2, 4, 6. You're going to notice 6 is the first number they have in common. So I'm going to use the denominator of 6. Well, let's look at that. How did 3 turn into 6? Now remember, you still have to use multiplication. So 3 times 2 gave me 6. So 1 times 2 would be 2. Well, 6 is still 6, so 5 is going to stay 5. Okay, what about over here? 2 times what gave me 6? Well, 3. So 1 times 3 is 3. And then I'm going to bring down my adding sign. Now, is my denominator the same for all of them now? Yes. So then I just add my numerators. 2 plus 5 is 7. 7 plus 3 is 10. So I have 10 over 6. Can I reduce it? Yes. Is it improper? Yes. So I'm going to have to decide which one I can do. Well, top one's bigger. Let's just get rid of that. So 10 divided by 6 goes in there 1 time. So I have 1 and 4 6. 1 and 4 6. Now what's wrong with 4 6? You're right, it can be reduced. I can reduce 4 and 6 both by 2. So I get 1 and 2 thirds. So I have 1 and 2 thirds. Well, adding and subtracting of fractions again. Main thing you must do, have a common denominator. And remember, when you change your denominator, you have to change your numerators. See you next time.